Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF. Bava Metzia, Samach Hey. We are holding 7 lines off the top of the Amud. Amar Abai, Hayman de Masik, Zuzi, the Rebisa Bechavrei. So, a fellow lent money with interest. And they set the interest rate at, let's say, 1 zuz. Okay, you owe me a zuz of interest. And instead of actually giving him a coin for that interest payment, he substituted that with grain, with wheat. Amar Abai, Hayman de Masik Zuzah, the Girsa Zuzah. So he's owed 1 zuz of ribis, the Rebisa Bechavrei. So the friend is going to give him a zuz for the ribis. V'ko'azli chiti, and the going market rate for wheat was arba gravy, for amounts for sa'ah, let's say, of wheat bezuzah per zuz b'shuk in the market, right? V'yovli iu chamisha, and Shimon, in paying that ribis payment with his wheat, decided to give him an extra bonus. He gave him 5 pounds instead of 4. Now, when we extract that ribis back from Reuven, because that's the halacha, we're working with the conclusion that we had that we're going to have an Amud Beis, which is like the opinion that ribis ketzutza, set predetermined ribis, is yoitz b'dayanim. The dayanim, the courts, can compel the lender to return that money. He's required to give it back. So how much is he required to give back? Because really, technically, he was only owed 1 zuz of ribis. The thing is that the borrower gave a bonus, gave him an extra pound of wheat. So then when we take it back from Reuven, he's only required to return 4 pounds, which was the value of the ribis, the zuz. Idach, what about the extra pound? Shimon was just giving him the wheat at a discount, and he gave an extra sa'ah as a bonus. But really, he was only obligated to give him 4 pounds on account of that zuz. So technically, 4 of the 5 is ribis. The other one is just, an add-on. He doesn't have to return that. So that's Abai's opinion. Rava disagrees. Rava Amar Chamisha, all 5 pounds. Ma p'kina menei are taking away from Reuven. You know why? Because they're all labeled ribis payment. The miikara b'teros ribisa asli yadi. How did Reuven get a hold of this shipment? Be it 4, be it 5. The fact is, it was all as a ribis payment, and if he wouldn't be taking ribis, he wouldn't be getting any wheat, right? So the extra fifth, the extra pound, was a bonus, sort of an expanded ribis. It all falls under the ribis umbrella, and he loses it all. He has to give it all back. Varam Abai comes Abai with another halach. Hayman de Masik Abba Zuzi the Rebisa Bechavrei. If a person is owed 4 zuz of ribis, v'yavli glima b'gavayu, and the borrower, instead of money, gave him a garment for ribis. Now comes the time to compel Reuven to repay the ribis. We force him to pay 4 coins, $4. But glima, the actual garment that he received in exchange for that ribis, we don't force him to return the actual garment. Because the ribis ketzutza, the deal was on money. You owe me 4 coins. The fact that he gave him a garment instead is just like a sale. He sold him the garment in lieu of the ribis. So that's not technically ribis, right? So he's compelled to return the ribis in money form, in coin form. He doesn't have to give back the actual garment. Rav Amar disagrees. Glima mapkina, we force him to give back the glima itself. My time, you know what? Technically, I would go with Abaye, but it doesn't look well. We don't want people to say glima de machsi v'koi. Look that coat that he's wearing, beautiful coat. Glima de ribiso is a ribis coat, and that brings to sort of losing value for the severity of ribis. People might get the wrong impression that ribis is allowed, so he has to give back the actual coat. Amar Rava, Here's another halacha. Suppose Reuven is owed 12 coins of ribbis. So now Shimon, instead of actually paying him the money, he allowed Reuven to rent his chatzar, his property. The metaga basara, whose going rental rate was 10, and he rented it for 12 to sort of cancel out the ribbis debt. They lent it to him for 12, which was above market rate. So again, Shimon borrowed money from Reuven and committed to give Reuven some ribbis in the amount of 12 coins. Reuven turned around and rented Shimon's property, which was really worth 10 zuz per month or per year, whatever. And he agreed to hike the price and accepted upon himself as a 12 zuz property, which would effectively cancel out that ribbis. Now comes time to take the ribbis back from Reuven. How much is he compelled to give back? He has to give back all 12. Because that's what he got for his ribbis. Hold it. He didn't really get 12. He didn't get full value. He took a rental which was really valued at 10. He agreed to accept it for 12, right? To deem it as 12, but it wasn't really, he didn't really get his value. He didn't really get his money's worth. Why can't Reuven respond by saying, look, the reason why I was willing to consider it a 12 zuz rental, because I was really gaining a lot from it. It was part of the ribbis arrangement, and it was all profit. So I was willing to sort of, allow that give. But now I'm not gaining from it. In fact, I'm losing from it. I'm compelled to repay all this. So let's just look at actual value. What did I get? I only got 10, not 12. I'm renting like anybody else. I wasn't willing to accept it at a higher rate. Because we tell them, look, too late. Sabras v'kiblas. You knew, and you accepted it upon yourself as a 12 zuz rental. Right? You agreed to rent it at a higher rate. You can't change it. You can't go back on that. Even though the basis for that agreement has drastically changed on you, but the fact is you have committed to rent it for 12 in lieu of the ribbis, so now you've gotten that benefit, which we consider a $12 benefit, 12 zuz benefit. You have to return that as ribbis, repayment. Says the Mishnah, Marban ala schar, ve'in marban ala mechar. So you're allowed to increase on sachar, on rentals. You can agree to pay a higher rental rate when in exchange for the owner allowing you a late payment arrangement. But you can't do the same when you purchase a property. Ketzad, how does this work? Okay, his kilo is chatzeri. Reuven had a chatzar, a property. He rents it to Shimon. He says, look, how do you wish to pay for this? Lump sum now or month by month? If you pay it to me lump sum right now for the whole year, I'm going to give it to you at a discount. 10 sela per year. But if you pay me monthly, it's sela l'chodesh. It's 1 sela per month for a total of 12. Is that okay? Muta, that's fine. And the more will explain, because really he's meant to be paying per month. That's when his rental fee comes due, right? Month by month. So that's the given. The actual rate is 12 sela per year. Now, if he's willing to pay ahead of time, me as the landlord, as the owner, I'm willing to forego, 2 sela. That's okay. I can rent it to you for an annual fee, which is less than a monthly fee. That's fine. Okay, so I can do that. That's not ribbis. But when it comes to a a sale. Machar le esadeu. Reuben is selling his field to Shimon, not renting, selling. V'amar le, he says like this. If you pay me now, the full amount, you can take it for 1,000. If you wait until the harvesting season when you'll put together your funding, then I'll charge you more. That's ribis. If you pay me then at the garden, it's 12 mana. Mana is 100 zuz, so it's 1,200 instead of 1,000. Also, that's not allowed because he's meant to pay now. You see, it's different than a rental that you pay monthly. A sale is meant to be paid for at the time of sale. Right? So you owe me the money now. The fact that I'm waiting for the money, that's like lending you the money. And I'm charging you for it. The fact is I'm charging you a fee. Late payment gets a fee. That's ribis. Late payment is ribis. Late payment fee is ribis. Right? So all the credit cards and all late payment fee is ribis. But in the first situation, he was just giving him a discount because of early payment. Monthly rental payment is standard. Pay per month. If you give it to me lump sum, you choose to give it to me lump sum, I'm going to forego, to drop the rate. That's fine. Okay, the Gemara will explain this. Maishna Reisha, why is it okay in the Reisha with the rental? Well, Maishna Seifa, why is the increase due to the late fee in the Seifa not okay? Says the Gemara, very simple. Maishna Reisha, Maishna Seifa, Rabba, Rabbi Yehuda, they will explain like this. They both provided a very clear-cut reason. Right? So basically, by rentals, I can add. Right? If it's monthly, I can charge more. By the sale, I can't add more for late payment. What's the difference? Says the more schirus eino mishtalemes el basayf. When is one meant to pay for a rental? At the end of the rental period. Okay, at the end of the month, end of the year, that's when you pay your rent. So now, when it's still pre-rental, he's renting now for the rest of the year. So now, the time for collection of that rent has not yet arrived. Still early in the game. Lav agarnatale. So when I charge you one zuz per one seller per month, that's not agarnata. I'm not charging you a fee for delaying payment, for holding on to my money. No, that's the actual value of the property, one seller per month. And Vaida Kamerle, and the fact that he's turning around offering him a steal of a deal, you pay me lump sum in full today, I'm going to drop the rate. That's a discount. That's fine. I'm not charging you more for paying me monthly. Monthly is standard. Now I'm dropping. And this that he's offering him, that if you pay me now, right, the full amount, I'm going to drop the rate. He's offering it to him at a discount. That's fine. But in the Seifa, in the case of the fellow who's selling a field, there's the other way around. The starting point is that he's meant to pay in full today. Right? So that's the actual rate. And when he adds to the amount due to the late payment, that's called agarnata, that's ribis. Because he's paying for delaying his payment, paying for holding on to that money. Since it's a sale, he's meant to be getting that sale money payment now. So then when he increases due to that late payment, that's agarnata. Agarnata huvas. Amar Rava, Rabban actually searched to find some sort of support, some sort of hint, some sort of source for this concept that rent is meant to be paid at the end of the rental period. And they established it, they pegged it to a pasuk as a rental of a shana b'shana, which means schirus shel shana zu eina mishtalemet el b'shana acheres. The rental amount, the rent payment for year A is meant to be paid at the end, meaning at the beginning of year B, at the end of year A's rental period. So schirus is meant to be paid at the end. Amar Rav Nachman, Tarsha. Tarsha explained the Rishonim is a lashon of quietness, like a silent ribbis. It's like sort of a hidden ribbis. Or at least it looks like ribbis. But it's by way of some sort of transactional deal, and that's okay, shari. It's mutter. What does this mean? So Rashi explains. What happened was like this. He offered some schayra, some merchandise to a salesman on consignment. Sorry. He offered it to a customer. Right? He offered some merchandise to a customer, and he delivered the merchandise, but the customer didn't have any funds. So he says, "Look, pay me in a month's time," and he's increasing. He's charging him more than he would typically charge if he would be paying today. So that's mutter, provided he doesn't actually stipulate that. He doesn't, clearly stipulate, look, you have two options. Pay me today, it's X. Pay me then, it's Y. That would be considered ribbis, because he's clearly charging for that, delay in payment. But if he doesn't stipulate that, he just says, look, you want the bananas? Gesundheit. When are you paying me? In a month's time? Okay, it's going to be this and this. That's fine. Because that's the fee, that's the price that he's charging. That's fine. He had a kasha to Rav Nachman. Some say it was Rav Uka bar Chama Rav Nachman. What does our Mishnah say about that? It says that if he's charging for that late payment, it's asur. So why is this different? Amalei says big difference. Hasam Katzle, there in the Mishnah he's offering two options. Pay today, it's 1,000. You pay later on, it's 1,200. That's ribbis. Hachalei Katzle. In our case, he didn't stipulate anything like that. He didn't give him two options. He just says, look, you want it today? Fine. When you pay me then? Okay, it's X. That's fine. On a papa tasha didi, v'adai shari. I have another form of this tasha, this sort of delayed payment at a higher rate, which is certainly mutter. Rav Papa, as we know, was a wealthy beer maker. So he says like this: I would sell my beer early in the season. Rashi says during Tishrei time, which was still way pre-season. And I would only receive payment Nisan time, which was really the start of the season. So due to that delay in payment, I would charge more. That's okay. My timer, why is this certainly okay? Look, he says, I'm not getting anything. I'm not looking to make a profit. I'm not in a hurry to sell this stuff. I'm just doing him a favor. Look, my beer is not going to spoil in the meantime. I don't need the money. Right? So I'm not in a rush to sell. I'm just trying to help the customers. So I'm just making I'm just making a deal with him. Right? He wants the thing now. I'll give it to him now. But I'm only willing to accept Nissan's higher price, because you know what? I can just wait patiently till Nissan and sell it at the established rate. So I'm not really gaining from selling early on, and therefore it's not considered ribbis. Look, you're taking your own perspective, your own angle, right? What was he saying? Look, I'm not gaining, my stuff's not spoiling, I don't need the money, right? Fine. So on your end, it's not ribbis. But look at their side of the coin, so to speak. They're actually laying out extra money because of this late payment. Because suppose they would have actually have funds available. They would find it available for sale at this pre-season grab rate, right? At a lower discount rate. But now, because they don't have money, they're forced by you to pay the higher rate. Right? The full market rate, the Nissan rate. They're going to be buying based on the Yukra, the higher rate of later on. So he disagreed with the Heter. He says, no, it is a form of ribbis. I have a different type of tarsha, different type of buy-sell arrangement, which is certainly okay. So what was going on with Rav Chama's tarsha? Rashi explains like this: Rav Chama would sell different types of merchandise, and he lived, let's say, in town A, where this merchandise was actually cheap, and he would give it to somebody, to a salesman, to deliver it to point B, where actually these items were worth more. And these merchants, these salesmen, would pay Rav Chama the higher rate. Okay? And why were they doing this? So first of all, Rashi says he was Mekabel Achrayis. He was responsible for the well-being of this shipment, until it gets to point B. So that's first of all. And number two, the salesman who delivered the items and sold it there had some gain, because they used to take the money that they made off the sale and they would now invest it. They would purchase material that can be, obtained in that location, and bring it back to here, and I guess they would make some money on that merchandise when they would sell it here, right? So ultimately they would profit from the deal. But again, Rav Chama also profited, because initially they paid him for his merchandise, which they were going to deliver to point B. They paid him the higher price, the going price in point B, which was a higher rate than point A, where Rav Chama lived. So it would appear like there's a ribis issue, because they're essentially borrowing this money, because they're going to be selling the stuff and holding on to the money, using it to reinvest. So they're really borrowing money, and they're offering Rav Chama profit. But there's no ribis issue. It's not an issue. Why? It says, my time, because they actually gained from this too. They had lots of gain from this, and that was motivating them to do this. Because they welcome the fact that the items, the merchandise which they're delivering to point B is considered mine, is owned by me, because wherever they go, they get a free pass. Shav kilu michsa. So the customs officials cancel the customs, the taxes, because they're representing a Talmud Chacham, right? Talmud Chacham doesn't have to pay these taxes. V'nokalu shuka, and also they hold up the market. They give them priority in terms of selling the merchandise, because the Talmud Chacham gets priority, and he goes first. So basically, they get all these privileges, and they get much gain from this whole deal, and therefore it's considered a win-win, and it's not considered like they're paying him ribbis. So there's room to think that there is a ribbis concern, because the fact is they're toiling, they're making the effort to get my stuff sold, they're transporting it there, and they take, right? So basically they're doing me a service, apparently in exchange for me lending them this money, allowing them to convert it into money and use that money. But the answer is no. They're gaining a lot from the fact that they're representing me, and it's gain all around. It's not called ribbis. Says Rav Chama. Let's conclude the past few sugyos. First of all, we pass like Rav Chama, which he was the person who was involved in the most recent discussion. So that's okay. We follow Rabbi Lazar. Oh, this is way back regarding the shaila whether we require a lender to return ribbis, and the answer is yes. And finally, we pass on Rabbi Yani as well. That was the halacha there regarding buying, futures, right? Could a person enter into a contract, a seasonal contract? Look, I'm paying you X amount for a delivery of this merchandise throughout the season, and we're pegging it at today's market value and allowing you to deliver to me later on, even if it rises in value, and you're allowed to do that. And according to Rabbi Yanai, it's irrespective whether I'm getting hain or dmain, whether I'm getting the actual material that I purchased today, the wheat or whatever, or you're going to be offering something in exchange for that wheat. Or money, it doesn't matter. So even if I initially gave you $100 for that, shipping the wheat, and the wheat rose in value, and ultimately you're going to switch it for money, and you're going to give him back $200, which reflects the value of that wheat, half a year down the road. That's okay, because it's not really a loan, it's a purchase. It's my wheat that increased in value, and you're just, exchanging it for money. That's okay. Continues the Mishnah. Okay, Reuven is actually selling a field to Shimon, and Shimon is giving him, part payment for that field. And the seller, the moicher, tells the buyer, the lekeach, look, whenever you get around to it, whenever you're up to it, you can deliver the rest of the payment and take your field. So in the meantime, I'm holding on to it, I'm using it. That's not okay. Also, you can't do that. You know why? Because look, if the lekeach ends up completing the transaction, so it turns out that really it was his from day one, and all this while the seller is benefiting. Why is he benefiting? He's getting ribbis on account of the money that's outstanding, the money that's owed to him. Right? That's ribbis. And at the same time, you can't have the lekeach, the buyer, eating the prayers, because just in case he does not end up completing the deal, and Reuven, the seller, returns whatever deposit he gave to him, he gives it back to Shimon and cancels the deal. So Shimon never really owned the field at all, and technically the money that he had given to Reuven was really a loan, wasn't part of a sale. There was no sale, and all the while lekeach, Shimon, is eating the peiros. Why? He's getting a fee for the money that he lent Reuven. So this arrangement is asr. Next, hilvo al sadeo. Now we're speaking about a natural loan. Reuven lent Shimon $1 million, and Shimon uses his field as a sort of collateral. He says to Reuven, look, so Reuven tells Shimon, if you don't repay me the $1 million within 3 years, Hari Shali, your field turns into mine. Okay, so if he doesn't pay up, the field now reverts to Reuven. So that's fine. Hari Shali. And in fact, the V'kacha Yabaisis ben Zunin, that was his name, he would actually practice this type of deal based on the Chachamim's instruction. That's fine. That's a fair deal. Okay, so let's go back to the first case where he actually sold him a field, and he gave him a down payment, and the condition was, look, when you complete the deal, you get the field. So it's a problem, because no matter who gets the peiros, we run a risk of ribbis, as we explained. So who should take the peiros? In the meantime, meyachel peiros. Rav Huna Amar, meichel peiros. No problem. Reuven, the seller, can eat the peiros, and the Gemara soon will explain why there's no ribbis issue. We're speaking about a specific case. Rav Huna Amar, no, mishal shlan sa peiros. Mishal shlan is lashon of a third party, shalish, a shlish. Nobody, not Reuven or Shimon, can access the pairs. We give it to a third party to hold on to it in the meantime, pending further developments in terms of this transaction. There really is no machlekes between these two opinions. They reflect different scenarios. Rav Huna, who says the seller can hang on to the pairs, the Amar is speaking when he told him, is kani. He says, look, I appreciate your down payment, but it's not really yours yet until you complete the deal. So until then, it belongs to Reuven. He can have the peiros, right? But Rav Anan, who says it's problematic, is speaking to Amar where he said the chimais is kni me'achshav. He tells Shimon, look, as soon as you pay up for the field, it's yours, starting from today, starting from the initiation of this transaction, mafrei, retroactively. So there's an issue, as we explained, because it can turn out that somebody had ribbis. Tani Rav Safra. Reb Safra had a brisa, which was included in Reb Chia's compilation of brises, of ribbis-oriented brises, presenting sort of 4 categories within this halacha of a fellow who sold a field and received a down payment. There's a situation where both the moicher or the lekeach can access the peiros without any concerns. Pa'amim sheshneim asurim. At times they're both asur. Upa'amim, at times we have shah moicher mutar v'lekeach asur. Reuben can take it, not Shimon, and sometimes the other way around. Pa'amim, and at times it reverses. Shah lekeach mutar v'moicher asur. Shimon can and Reuben cannot. Only Rava Basrei. So Rava responded, after this statement was made, he came and explained exactly what and when. How do we apply each one of these halachas? Pa'amim sheshneim mutar. When are both allowed to access the peiros of this sort of pending sale? Reuven initially told Shimon, look, I'm selling you the field. I'm willing to sell you the entire field for $1 million. But you know what? You can take it incrementally. You pay 100, you get a part of the field. Pay not, right? You can take possession of the field in proportion to the payment amount. So perfect. Whatever he pays, he gets. So we can have both Reuben and Shimon benefiting from the field simultaneously. He takes his part, There's no issue there. Whatever is sold, or is not, belongs to Reuben. So then we say Shnei Mutar. They can both sort of partner in the field. Shnei Masurim. We have a situation where they both cannot, as we explained before. D'amalei, we told him, L'chi maisis, k'ni me'achshav. I appreciate your down payment, and as soon as you get around to paying the rest, it's yours retroactively from now. So as we explained, that carries the risk of ribis, right? As explained. You have a situation where the seller can and the buyer cannot. D'amalei was speaking that he told him, L'chi maisis, k'ni, take the field. Thanks for the down payment, but it's not yours until you finish paying. Until then, it's the meicher's. Fair and square, right? And pa'amim shalakeach muta. Meicher also, sometimes the lekeach has it, but not the meicher. The amar leikni me'achshav was speaking that Reuven offered him the field for sale. And you know what? Take it all. It's yours now. And the rest of the payment is an outright loan. He stipulated that it's an outright loan. So here, the meicher has to keep hands off, because if he takes anything from the field, it's like he's getting paid for that delayed payment. He's getting a fee for the loan. So here the lekeach, strictly lekeach, takes it, not the meicher. Now, mantana, let's go back to the first case. Mantana shnei masurin. So we have that case where he took the down payment, and he says, look, as soon as you complete the payment, it's yours retroactively from day one. So there's a concern, because perhaps, if the meicher takes the peiros, if the deal does go through, it really always belonged to the lekeach, and now the meicher benefited because of that, weight in receiving his money. On the other hand, if the deal does not go through, so the money, the initial payment given to the meicher is deemed merely a loan. So what's the lekeach doing eating the peiros? Oh, he's charging for the money that he had sitting by Reuben. That's ribis. So whose opinion is reflected in this halacha? It does not fit with Rabbi Yehuda, who would allow in this case. He would not consider it a problem. Because according to him, we had this the other day, meaning when there's only like a chance of ribis being produced, so as long as it's not really an outright loan, it's within a sale, so to speak, within a sale arrangement. So even though there's a chance of ribis being produced, that's not an issue of ribis, and therefore according to him, since it's not set or determined that there will be ribis, it's an unknown, right? Therefore, it's mutter. Continues the Gemara. Mishkan loy bayis, Mishkan loy sadeh. Reuben lent Shimon $1 million, and Shimon offered his house or his sadeh as a mashkan, as a collateral. And Reuben tells Shimon, look, I don't really need your house. I'd rather get your money back, repay me the loan. But if you get to the point that you'll ever sell this extra house, the kshatirtze l'moichram, you know what? I want to make a deal with you. Lo timkerim ela li b'damim halalu. I would like you to sell it to me. And, it's really worth $2 million, but you know what? The loan was $1 million, I'll add you another 500,000, 1.5, and you'll sell it to me, right? You can't do that, it's usher. Because he's basically forcing him to sell it at a discount due to the fact that he lent him money. That's ribis. But let's say he's going to buy it at face value, at market value. That's okay, because he's not really taking extra. Now, once again, who holds that in the first case it's asur, despite the fact that it's not a clear-cut, predictable ribis? Perhaps he'll never sell it, right? So why is it asur? Amar Huna, Bray. Rabbi Yeshua, once again, they like Rabbi Yehuda. It's not following Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, because going to him, Hamar, he says, when there's only a sort of a chance that a sale will sort of develop into ribis, it's okay, and therefore in this case as well, it'll be okay. You have another case. Reuben actually sells a house or a field to Shimon. And Reuben stipulates as follows. I don't really want to sell this property. I'm desperate, right? But the kashiyili mois, when I get a hold of money, I want you to give me back this field. Is that okay? Awesome. You can't do that. You know why? Because Rashi says it's not really much of a sale. If he's forcing him to give it back to him as soon as he gets money, so it's like you loaned him money, right? It's like Shimon the buyer just merely loaned money to Reuven for the time being, and all this while Shimon is benefiting from the property. That's called ribis. But let's say it wasn't the seller who stipulated in the contract. It was the buyer who offered out of the goodness of his heart. He says, I know you're having a hard time. Let me buy it from you, but one day, if Hashem helps you, when Hashem helps you, and you'll get your hands on money, I will willingly return it. I'll sell it back to you. That's fine because it's a separate transaction. Now it's sold, and then he'll resell it to Reuven. Right? So if you offered him when you obtain funds, I'm committing myself now to return it to you, to resell it to you. That's okay. That's mutter. But in the first case, it's not, because it was the seller who stipulated it, and that's pretty much throwing a wrench into the whole deal. It's not really a sale if he's going to force the buyer to resell it. So the first halacha does not fit Rabbi Yehuda, because, as we said, when it's only sort of an uncertain type of, a sale which can develop into ribis, such as if he ends up taking it back, that's okay. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, there would be no issue there as well. Now, we're trying to explain, first of all, so first it's not like Rabbi Yehuda, but secondly, let's try to understand what is the difference. We mentioned two cases. One where the seller stipulated, and one where the buyer offered. First time we said it's asur, second time it's mutter. What's the difference? So we explained it. Ma'ishna reisha ma'ishna seifa, amarava, reisha deloi amli midaitei. In the reisha, it wasn't midaitei. The buyer didn't offer it, right? It was imposed on him. So it's not much of a sale when you have this sort of clause compelling me to sell it back to you. So it's not much of a sale, it's more like a loan than a sale. Seifa, whereas in the second case, it was the buyer who offered it. He volunteered. He initiated it. So there, it's mutter, because even if it turns out that he'll resell it, it's a resale. He bought it now, it's his, and then he's agreeing to sell it back. It's a totally separate transaction. That's not related to ribis. Okay, so in summary, we spoke about returning any ribis payments. Suppose he got some material at a discount. Does he have to give back the entire amount or just the ribis amount? What if he got a garment? Right? So we had a machlekes there. What if he rented a property at a higher rate than normal because he thought he was just getting it as a ribis thing? How much does he have to repay? Then we had a Mishnah highlighting the difference between increasing on a rental or increasing on a sale. One is asur, one is mutter. We discussed various cases of tarsha, sort of merchandise arrangements. Sometimes it's mutter, sometimes it's not. And then we have the Mishnah here where he sold a sada receive the down payment, who eats the pears in the meantime. We had a brisa with 4 separate categories. And we concluded with some cases of mashka and of sales, which appear like sales, but have a sort of a loan element to them, which raises a ribbis concern. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, it would be mutter. All the best to you, and atzlach.